Hello. Welcome to After Emoris episode 19. As you can see, I've had an encounter with the gator. Appears when you're dead, you do get your hand back. So, today we are joined by Equa is not funny, and
Hi.
also hi, and also we are joined by Esprit. Hi guys.
Hi.
I
Yeah, last week I was stuck underwater for a little bit. I think I missed some of the mold, so I'll have to have a shower after this, but I did not want to miss 2 weeks in a row. So,
it happens.
yeah, it happens, especially with that gator, that
Dude,
ghost
I'm
gator,
telling you.
that hay, still alive and apparently still hungry, because, yeah, she obviously missed some.
They haven't found
But,
you yet. They'll
Nope.
find you one of these days, whether it be as a
Maybe.
turd or as a body. We'll see.
well, that's comforting to know. Alright, so, a couple of things happened in the last session, so Elakian finally woke up after his little knocked out nap. It was probably a well-deserved sleep, especially since he doesn't voluntarily sleep, so it was probably for a long time coming. And
you know.
yeah, come see, come saw. And Free had wandered off by herself. It was trying to make a deal with the gator and basically froze up on the spot because the gator was demanding some pretty interesting things that Free didn't seem able to come up with anything else to bargain with right at the time. And we saw the group going here and there, kind of trying to gather the forces together. And obviously they split up again.
Chem
When
tweeted something. I don't remember exactly what it said, but she tweeted something and said, "This is our Morris group" or something like that, and it was a GIF of Scooby Doo saying, "Let's split up, gang." And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "That's like the
Yep.
Yep.
perfect summary."
That's
That's for
literally
sure.
just us in a nutshell.
Yep.
Yeah, it pretty much is. But when was the last time the group was together for, longer than a day? I think it was on the way to Keijo
I
when they
think it
happened to
was
be
on the way
riding
to
in the same
Mm-hmm.
Keijo.
wagon.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh
Yup.
man.
Yep.
But man,
That was it. Yep. You're right.
but Esprit, isn't it nice that you're not the one that wandered off this time? It's like validation that someone else wandered off.
I mean, technically I did,
Yeah.
but I wasn't the only one.
He just had
So,
someone with him.
Mm-hmm. So the first official question that I have for you guys is from Mumblescum, that on the Discord server. At what point do the Silver Coat take responsibility for sacrificing everyone in Griz's characters to the Ghost Gator? Because Rokanoka had a pretty close call while planting that dagger as a so-called tracker.
so we kind of talked about this in chat the actual during the actual live stream, and it was pretty sure most of us agreed that Chris just has a martyrdom complex.
I think so, yeah.
I
Listen,
feel like that's exactly what keeps happening.
as a
Yeah.
DM, I abide by the rule of cool, you know? If this were a real thing, there is no possible way that his character should have survived that encounter at all. But luckily for him, I knew what he was doing. So I allowed it. And he only took fucking 20
Wow.
points of damage or something like that. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Just one hit, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So pretty much, if Rokanoka had started off at a lower level, he probably would have been knocked out with that one hit, huh?
The funny thing is, Griz said that he made this character to deal with the Ghost Gator, and he almost just died the first time that he saw
Mm-hmm.
the Ghost Gator as this character. And then what? Would
Yep.
we have rolled him another character?
I feel like at that point I would have just made a character be like, here.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, we still technically haven't seen the first permanent character death yet. Because
Nope.
while Free is technically died, she came back within 5 minutes. And while Wade went off and he's not a playable character at the moment, we were told that by you, Equa, that he would have about roughly 2 weeks to bleed out first before he died.
Yep, he's got
But,
3 weeks left.
Yeah. How do you guys feel that you haven't had a permanent character death keyword yet?
I mean, just means we're doing something right, and it depends on whether Equa feels like he's doing something right or not. Like...
So, I mean, when you ask me that question, what I hear is that you're challenging me to a permanent character death. So, we'll see. You know, maybe it'll be next week. Who knows? I think if anyone's gonna die permanently, no, I shouldn't say that. I won't say that. It's fine. I
My
have
own viewpoint,
bets.
it's honestly between Free and Wade.
I mean, it depends. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with... Oh, well, I know, but you guys don't know what's going to happen with the deal that Free has found herself indoctrinated into. So... We don't
I have my suspicions, but everybody has their suspicions.
Mm-hmm.
No one
Well,
knows except
also...
the DM because reasons.
Yes. But yes, as a fun question regarding Free's deal, what would a tiefling hand go for on the market?
It depends on who you're selling to, I imagine, and who the hand belongs to. I would give Free's hands a range of... I don't know, this is a weird question. It depends. It depends on who you're selling to. Some people will buy it for hundreds of gold. Some people would not touch it with a stick. So,
Yeah, I say it kind of like the black market IRL. Just like depends on the quality of the hand and then who's trying to buy it.
yeah, some people have needs for strange things like that.
Would a Lakian be interested in buying a hand? Not necessarily a tiefling hand.
Depends on who it belongs to. I'm being perfectly honest.
All right, so for questionable buying, that kind of leads into my next question here. Alignment. So I asked this on the last one. Not well, actually, I had Sharp ask on my behest. What does the alignment mean for when you're role-playing a character? Do you take it into account, or do you just kind of go, oh, okay, and it just affects like certain items that you can get, for example, like soul coins?
So for mine specifically, whenever I actually made the character, I had a general idea of how I wanted to play the character, and that's the alignment that I chose to go along with it. That's how I typically do it. Like if I want to play a character to where, like say for Lakian, like he's just a rogue that plays by his own rules and to hell with anybody else. That's kind of why I've got him as a neutral evil kind of character, is because of
neutral
that.
evil.
I can't remember whether I've got him as neutral evil or lawful evil. I could double check that real fast. I think it might be lawful evil now that I think about it more.
Either way, Lakian is confirmed evil.
I think you were lawful evil. I think you're lawful evil because we had a conversation about it before we started the game.
Yes, lawful evil. Yep.
I'm of the opinion that alignment is a good thing. You should have alignment in D&D. And I think that when you make a character, alignment is important. But I think that this has been a talking point for a lot of people over the past couple of years of D&D. I am of the opinion that your character choices should affect alignment and not the other way around.
Yes.
So alignment is as good as a guideline for when you're starting to get a feel for your character, because characters, when you start playing, they inevitably change depending on who you're playing with. But depending on what your character does in the course of the game, after a breathing period at the start, I think then your alignment should change based on that. And that's what happened with Izzy. When Izzy decided to torture Vija, and it would have been the same thing if Alakian decided to torture Vija. They would have gone slightly more to the evil side of things. That's not to say that they're not redeemable, because absolutely Izzy can come back and try and work on it and be better, and her alignment will shift then. But yeah, that's how I play the game. Not everyone has to, but you're in my campaign now, bitches. So.
Yes, everyone be very respectful to your DM, or else they will make your life a living hell.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I can
All
dig
right,
it.
but yeah, I always viewed the alignments can be viewed as two ways. One, how you play your character, or how the DM wants the NPCs to view your character.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because, for example, since on my own game that I'm playing on Fandelver for Fridays, Captain Jacques Sparrow, she is actually a chaotic neutral. So that's because, well, she's a pirate. Sometimes she does good things, sometimes she does bad things, but either way, she doesn't really follow by the law. She more looks at them as guidelines anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But I fully expect other people, if they find out she is a pirate, they react to her negatively because of her chaotic nature. But if they don't know, then they react neutral because of the chaotic neutral part.
It's an
So
interesting
yeah, it all
take.
depends. But yeah, it all depends on what the NPCs that the DM decides is a need to know or reaction basis.
Hmm. Fair enough. That's I
But
like
yeah,
that take. It's interesting.
oh, thank you. All right then. So next question here for you, Esprit.
Mm-hmm.
Elakin, Elakin seems to be growing in this connection to the Raven Queen. Even gained a glimpse and an impression towards a direction when he was doing his meditation and prayer. How do you feel so far about the deities of the uh, D&D, of the homebrew, or even like pre-made of the 5e eras?
So for me, this campaign is actually my first like actually long run campaign. I did a kind of like a few episodes with somebody else back a couple of years ago, and we just did Sun of Citadel as kind of like an intro to D&D. And I didn't really have much uh, kind of interest in that kind of side of things, like the religious side of D&D type stuff. And that was actually a talking point whenever first made the character. Equa specifically asked me, "Do you have any like deities that he follows or anything else like that?" And it's like I told him, like honestly, with Alakian's backstory, he wouldn't have messed with any of that kind of stuff because it wouldn't have been interested him and wouldn't have interested him at all. And so I think kind of just being shown all these signs and stuff has kind of pushed him in that direction of like, hey, there's more out there, and you've kind of got a general direction that some higher power wants you to follow. As far as for me, in terms in general, I like how the gods are pictured as some of them have alignments, some of them are just whatever they have a goal that they want to have accomplished, and whatever means you have to get there to do that, so be it. And I think that's what I like most about the D&D gods in particular.
There was a reason that I made Alakian have such an intimate connection with his potential deity. Um, Actually, there were a number of reasons. The main one being that when we made the character of Alakian, it was very clear to me that he was this sort of loner type character who didn't really have a direction to go in, and I knew that when he met the group that there would be some rub off there, rub off, on him, um, and that they would influence him in some way to help form a direction. You know, this is D&D campaign, so there could be a main storyline and side quests and whatever. But I wanted there to be some form of bigger influence that wasn't the group, because I figured out of everyone he would be uh, probably one of the best people to have that influence on him. So I think that so far it has gone well. You've figured out who it was much sooner than I thought you would. Um, but I think I'm fairly happy with the way that the interactions have gone thus far. I can only go up from here.
Mm-hmm.
And same line, Equa, have you created your own deities, or are you just using the deities that are part of the 5e canons?
So that's a very interesting question, actually. It's a very good question to ask me. When I made the world, I have my own pantheon in mind. Initially, when I made Emoris, the pantheon was just going to be the Dormor deities, which you can find in the PHB or DMG or wherever it is. I don't know. And it's just going to be those ones. And so those are the ones that you will really only find imagery of in the world. But I asked everyone the question before they started playing, does your character worship any deities? And I won't name names, but some of the players mentioned that they might worship Forgotten Realms deities. And that's where it becomes fucking murky, because how do you operate with Forgotten Realms deities and the traditional D&D set? So there are some Forgotten Realms, there are some regular ones in there. For the next campaign, the pantheon is going to be the traditional one with specks of my own creations in there. There's like 4 or 5 different original creations in the next pantheon, and there will be no more Forgotten Realms, etc. But for this campaign specifically, because everyone had ideas of what they wanted to do, I allowed it, and also because this is the first campaign, so I ain't, you know, a spectacular DM. I can't prep all this crap for my first campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, but no, for the next one there will be a lot more homebrew in the pantheon, but not for this one.
All right. So our next question here that I got is, even though we all play like little bits here and there, some of the Swindlers Den players have played a little more than others, but have you ever watched someone else's session or been in a session that had very abrupt character death or total character death?
I haven't. Like I said, I've only played like one other campaign other than this one. I mean, I guess this I feel like probably would be pretty common, but for the current Critical Role campaign, whenever Molly died, like towards the very beginning of this campaign, that I think that's pretty much the only one that I'd ever watched, and that like I pretty much followed it up until that point and a little bit past that. And so I feel like that's honestly, like, mine is pretty much the only one that I can recall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I probably watched that one too. I don't know any others. Yep. I don't know what I can say here. I will say I have not been a player in any character campaigns where someone's died. I don't think I've watched any apart from that, so no, sorry. I'm
That's
boring.
quite all right, because heck, it might happen right here on Swindler's Den with the
Yeah.
Emoris channel.
Yeah. Wow, what would be the chances?
Equa's already got those numbers figured out in his head. He's just not telling anybody.
Pretty much. All right then. So, for you, Equa, the Hague or Zafiva, we know comes from the same world as Wade. Uh, how long has she actually been in this world?
I don't know if I can answer that.
Or how about this as a different one? When was the last time someone showed her some common decency, like offering her a cup of tea or going, hello?
Um,
Because seriously, no one of the goats has been asking her anything like, of, what do you want? Why do you want this? And like, she only voluntarily gave that information to Wade, and that was only after she got him in her tree.
I don't think I can answer the clarity question. What I can say is that this show has been very educational for me, because I tend to write villains who have goals of doing something that are arguably normal or even good, and their approach to going about achieving those is always bad. But what it has shown me is that sometimes people just don't take pity on people, like, at all. Like, her motivations are arguably fairly okay, and sure, the way that she wants to go about it is terrible and it's not good, but no one is gonna show her any pity or anything like that. No one showed. Well, no, Vija was a tool, so that's a bad example. I can't use that as an example either. That's a spoiler. There are other people in this campaign that have done bad things for good reasons, and no one has shown any semblance of empathy towards them. So, it's been educational. Been educational for me. That's what I can say.
But yes, we do know that Elakian and Thyra went over to see Mr. Games at the end of the last episode.
Yep.
And Mr. Games was kinda low cuckoo. Is there a specific reason that he got Shawnee as a slave? Because I think Shawnee mentioned that he was quite lonely and he doesn't really do anything to her. Does Shawnee look like his late wife?
Spoilers.
I don't think I can answer that.
No problem.
I don't think I can answer that.
I honestly,
no problem.
On that note, I feel like next session, probably what's going to end up happening with that whole situation is Thyra and Elakian are going to get a gigantic lore dump.
It's possible.
If the right things are said.
You haven't killed him yet, so...
Not yet.
He's lasted longer than most of my NPCs, so...
That's a fair statement. This is a very fair statement.
Gotta say though, at least these past few episodes, we have been getting more lore dump from the characters than quite a few previous sessions. Minus Elakian for when he was in Recrovy, we got quite a bit of lore dump for him when he was dealing with the church and discovering his relationship with the Raven Queen. So that was yay. I like lore dump. I like details a little too much. I'm running out of questions here. Oh, here is a question that I'm pretty sure that will also be a response to spoilers. But is Loven ever gonna say anything? Will we get lore on Loven?
Spoilers, man. Can't say that. No,
he has talked. For the record, he has talked in game a couple times. Just not to Isabel.
You guys have heard what he has to say. You have heard from people that he can speak, but just won't. That's all you got.
Shy. All right then. So, do you guys have any predictions for the next session or two, regarding fate of the goats? Like, who's your prediction of life, death, eternal torture?
Oh, everyone's gonna die. Everyone's gonna die.
Everyone's gonna die.
Everyone's gonna die.
Dyto and I actually had this conversation at the end of last session too, where it's like, depending on what is said and what is done while we are down in Gaines' basement, that could go one of two ways. Either we all walk out fine, or he ends up dead. It depends on what he does or tries to do. That's gonna determine a lot of things with all of that.
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen is, I can't anticipate players. What I imagine will happen is you guys will finish up with Gain in some way, and depending on how you do, you may or may not be able to catch Duel. And then you may or may not be able to persuade him to help, and then you may or may not be able to go back to Keijo to the point where you meet up with the rest of the group, and then you may or may not be able to find and then take on the hag. There's lots of maybes. So, I don't know, it depends. You know, if you guys really, really try hard and if you get reinforcements, then you don't need to roll that well. But if you don't, then you need to roll okay. and then you might be able to take her on because she was weak where you last left her off.
Mhm.
But at the same time, she is an intelligent creature and she knows what works. So it really depends. I really like the Hag as a villain because she knows shit.
Mhm.
She gets shit done. So we'll see.
Yep.
Only Monday will tell. You know.
Say like
Maybe you guys will split up more.
With the whole duel thing. Like I have ideas as to how can convince him to help, if anything, if we need to, if we can actually get there. So, but again, it's also going to depend on how we deal with gains, how fast that goes, what he tries to do, what he doesn't try to do, or anything else like that. So, but yeah, there's like, just like anything, the future's uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know what will happen
and
next
it all
week?
depends on the roll of the dice.
What will definitely happen next week is that the group will split up and we'll do a 3-hour shopping trip. That's probably what will happen.
Definitely.
Yay.
100%.
3-hour shopping trip. Yes, because Rokanoka needs to crush diamonds.
He's got to crush those diamonds, man. Yeah, I think he got
crush
them
those
fine.
diamonds.
I'm just going to quickly learn the teleport spell at, 3rd level rogue, and it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's great. Just teleport us back to recruit. Just teleport us back to Recruit and just be like, fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yep.
Hey, totally fine. Yeah. All right. So I just got a couple questions left for you guys. The first question being, since this coming week is essentially the Halloween episode, because the next one that airs is already going to be November, will you guys be considering dressing up or not?
I don't really have like a full-on costume, but I am planning on 3D printing like a Phantom of the Opera mask and wearing that, depending on how long I can tolerate that. But that's my plan for like a costume of sorts.
I don't have costumes, but what I do have is this incredibly big, very wrinkly brain in my head. So I have ideas of things that I can do in place of that, which I think will be kind of funny. So we'll see,
It'd be great.
Worst, you just go over to the dollar store, pick up a fake hand, and just kind of wave it around to people.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have costumes either. I just have makeup. So when in doubt, just throw some makeup on, or if you really want to get creative, maybe throw a trash bag over your head. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right then. So, do you guys have anything else to add before I close this up?
I don't.
Griz is a poo-poo head. That's what I have to add.
Fair enough.
There we go. Griz is a poo-poo head. We heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's official because it's from our almighty DM. Never mind that Griz is also a DM, but that doesn't count because Equa was DM first.
Haha, sucker.
All right then.
Correct.
All right then. So everyone, please follow the social medias over on the side here. On Monday we have Emoris at 6:30 Central. On Wednesday we will have Mythic Odysseys of Theros. A little later in the evening, I believe 8:30. Or was it? Is it just an hour later?
I think it's an hour later. I think it's 8:30 Eastern.
All right,
so 7:30 Central.
So 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, and then on Friday we have the Lost Mines of Phandelver on at 6:30 Central as well, and also on this YouTube channel. Please tune in the next Tuesday, which is October 27th, for the Halloween one-shot special that is called, I had it here, it's called Bard Out of Hell, featuring quite a few people, DM'd by Dyto herself, and you guys will be able to see a whole bunch of bards trying to get through her special little campaign. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. So thank you, Esprit, thank you, Equa, for joining me today, and I hope that I get my hand back. Yeah, and I'm gonna wash all the swamp water off of me. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great session for the coming Monday.
That's one great way to cauterize a wound if you get swamp water in it.
That's great.
Yeah.